All right. I want to cover an acronym called BEST today. Just kind of go over what I mean by BEST, and we'll start with the B, and hopefully you'll remember this. B is about building your audience. And we talk a lot about promoting our business. We talk about, safe lists, traffic exchanges, postcards, pay-per-click, YouTube, Facebook. We talk about all these different ways to promote our business. But what we're really doing is building our audience. And we should be using a capture page for any method we use and putting them on a list, because the first step in any very, very successful business online is building an audience. These are people that you can email all the time. I mean, most of us are heard solo ads. You pay somebody to send your ad to their list, and then you get so many clicks off their list. Well, what if you had your own list of 50 to 100,000 names on there? You no longer have to pay for traffic. You can always go back to your list, which is your audience. And the better you build your audience, and we're gonna get into number 2, which is E, the better you build that audience, the better your business will grow. This today is an example of what we're doing for building our audience. We bring more people back here. Team Synergy is an audience that we're all building together, and we have that audience that we communicate to, and when we bring them here, we're going to build that audience. But the first step you should remember, any promoting, if you're focused just totally on selling a product or a business, you need to back up and realize the primary goal of marketing is to build that audience. From that audience, the rest will come. But number one, and I'm sure you've heard build your list, the list is nothing more than your audience. But you want to build that audience, but you want a good audience. And we're going to get into that next, because the next step of building the audience is my E, is engaging that audience. We want to engage our audience. We want to provide them with something of value, either emails with a little bit of tips or strategy, maybe a 3-point sheet on how to have people follow you on Facebook, or how to send out a safe list. These type of things are value that people will get, and you'll get a response from your audience, because you want to build that list, build the audience, and then you want to engage them. If you're always just sending emails out that say join, 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 you're not going to engage that audience. They're just going to turn you off. You want to engage that audience. The goal is to try to meet people, try to connect with people, get the two-way conversation. I sent out an email the other day that got a lot of flack, and I just wanted to see if people were reading my emails from this list. And I kind of use why haven't you, or how do I put it, why didn't you do anything yet? And I got a lot of flack from a lot of people that came back and said I was rude for asking that. And I just wanted to see if they're responding, and I responded. I said, okay, that's great. I didn't mean to be rude. I just wanted to see if you're reading my emails. I know you are. Here, I have an ebook for you. And I gave them an ebook, and one came back and said, thank you. The other one, unsubscribed. But it was kind of funny. I put a direct question to him like that, and I got a lot of responses. So engaging your audience is all about trying to connect with them and build that next step. So the first step, we want to build an audience, and that could be through our safe list. Oh, I got somebody coming in here. That could be through our safe list, traffic exchange. Postcards, I think, is a great way to build an audience that kind of leads to the engaging part already, because they're getting to know you from that, especially when we have the 800 number. They're hearing that voice. YouTube, I like that one because people see you, they see Duncan, they call him, and we're building our audience at the same time we're engaging there. Anytime you can engage your audience, you're getting closer to where you want to be, because step 3 is where we can sell to our audience. We can start recommending products and things like that, because once we've got an audience, we're always building an audience, we're always engaging the audience. But if we have an engaged audience and then we recommend something, they're going to try it. I have a guy that's been on my list for a long time that I just recommended the probiotic to him because I know he's in the health and wellness industry. He has a product of his own that he's been building, and I just sent him an email and said, you take a probiotic? And he said, no. I said, well, I'm in an MLM where we have a probiotic. And he goes, well, I'd like to see it, because the people in my group, we believe if we're going to do any health products, we want to do it in an MLM industry and not just off the shelf, because they know that referrals happen. So I sent him the link. I think he's going to be joining this week, but it's pretty cool that I had that in audience and I was able to engage him, and then I could recommend something to him. And so we want to build the audience, we want to engage the audience, and then we can sell to the audience. And I said I wanted to do best, and the last thing I've got is the big T, and that's training. Because we're in an industry of MLM where we want to bring people on our team. So we want to build our audience, we want to engage them, and then we want to sell them, have them join us, but then we have to work on training them. And that's where this whole Zoom comes in, Team Synergy comes in. It's the best tool we have for doing all those steps together, because when we plug them in here, they hear the things they need to hear to build their business. So we want to, once we get their audience, we can engage them. Even before we get to the selling our audience, we might want to plug them into these things, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, the Saturday, because they can start learning who we are, and that's engaging that audience. So we should always take our audience and try to get them here. One of the emails I send out to my list every week is the schedule of our events, so they can hopefully join us one of these Saturdays or Wednesdays and plug in. When I start seeing new people, we'll start these meetings out with a little opportunity overview for people that aren't members. When I see everybody here is a member, I'm just going to jump into the training. But ideally, I'd like to see our new people coming in, opportunity seekers joining us, that we can do an overview and then jump into training. But I always tell people the biggest thing you want to keep a focus on is you're always building an audience. I don't care what method of promoting you use, but you're building the audience. Now, we have talked about some forms are better than others. I think the lowest form is the free safe list traffic exchanges. They do bring people in. We do sponsor people, so I still do it. But that takes a lot more work to get them engaged. Where a YouTube video, Facebook, a postcard, I think the engagement happens a lot quicker because they kind of get to know us on the front end. And it's a little easier to start that engagement process. The selling just comes from communicating with people and talking to them and just finding out if you're a good match. Not everybody will, but later on they might be. And then the training, of course, we just always want to be bringing some value to the table. I talk fast, so I always think I got 30 minutes ready to go, and then I look down at the clock and I've been talking for 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Does anybody have any questions or anything they want me to expand upon? Because I think that BEST is a good acronym to keep in mind when you're building your business.
Yeah, I know that, like you were saying, like, getting in touch with the person as far as, not just selling them. I mean, do you have any like series or, know of any places on the internet where where there's some kind of like sample series that you might use to get in touch with that person to kind of, put that process in motion before just selling?
It's pretty strange because I really don't have long autoresponder list of emails ready to go. Typically, I got one or two that are welcomes, and then I just broadcast whatever I can think of that day. I have an ebook I had made for me. It ties into something else, so I don't like having the team share it because it ties into some other training thing. But I have this ebook that I give away, and there are other things we can give away, and we need to work. I think our Team Synergy page is one of those things I like to give people. After they start connecting, I give them that page to show them what Team Synergy is about. And I've done the broadcast with that page saying, hey, if you haven't checked out Team Synergy, this is what we're all about. And I send them that page because I think that page has a lot of value and brings something to the table. It's got some selling in it, but it brings value to show people who we are and what we're doing. So I use that too. But I mean,
what about like, I know they're out there. Like I just don't know, like off the top of my head, what websites there are. But I'm pretty sure there's websites out there you can go on and get free stuff, like get free ebooks and stuff like that are there.
The challenge with the free ebooks I found in the beginning, they worked really well years ago, but now there's so much of that out there. People aren't, and that's my ebook. I kind of set it aside a little bit and don't use it as much because people have had so much information on them. And I kind of save that stuff for somebody new that hasn't been around on the internet a long time. Like when I get responses from an email that they don't understand how things work, I know they're brand new to online stuff, and I might send them my ebook. But a lot of that PLR stuff, private label rights and all that stuff, it's just so overused. I think the biggest value I can do is send them to a video. I mean, I do that a lot. Send out the broadcast about my new video about, how to keep people from quitting your business and things like that. And you guys can always send them to mine or Duncan's video. I've referred Duncan's video many times to people on my list. You want to learn how to use SafeList, Duncan. Those three series you have there, you knocked it out of the park. And I use that as a value. Like watch these videos, and when I use your videos, they know I'm not selling them something because I'm sending them to somebody else's video. So it never hurts to do that, because if they do connect with Duncan, oh well, Bob sent me there. I know Duncan's going to refer them back to me. So I mean, I use whatever I can out there. Videos are a great thing to share. If you could just remember who you're sharing it with so you don't lose control of them, and I would keep them somewhere in the team so we can get them back to you. But yeah,
Right.
videos are great to share.
Now on the private labels, don't even some of those like private label free ebooks, don't the ebooks in themselves, sometimes you're promoting someone else's stuff too within that ebook.
Yeah, like my ebook that I had made, it promotes a whole different opportunity on training and stuff, and it's a great training company, but it's not my primary thing. So I use the ebook more for, I don't know, generic value type thing. I've used it in some capture pages where I gave it away. I really don't think that makes a big difference in the capture pages today. They used to say give something away of value to get their email. I've even tried the free coaching, get a free 30-minute coaching with me on some of my capture pages, and I've got a calendar to my Zoom, and I've had a few people take advantage of that. I think I've only had one that kept the appointment on the calendar where we actually talked and had a Zoom. He's gone by the wayside, and I told Duncan the other day I had a new record for a guy that joined and left less than 24 hours in our organization.
Wow.
He joined at night. The next day he sent me an email, and not email, he texted me and said, I'm not going to do this. It's not working. I'm like, only been 12 hours. What'd you expect? But
Yeah,
exactly. I know they're out there like that. It was just kind of fun. So never get discouraged when those things happen. I just kind of laugh at them, and I call Duncan and tell him how funny it is. Like, but yeah,
a question for you, Bob and Duncan. And this is just a question. I was thinking Tracy might be here and she could hear my question too. Many of the earlier lists that I have joined, and I still use them because I do get, they do join some of my programs. But when you join them at a higher, because they give you a free platinum or pro or whatever the membership
the one-time
is.
offers.
Okay, not lifetime, but they give you a free account for a year. Something like that. But when people sign up as my referral, they go into my downline there. And they allow us to send messages to my downline, getting different messages, not the email messages I send. Is those considered an autoresponder, that type of a service?
Somewhat. It's their own, yes and no, because you really can't do broadcasts and things like that. But I know what you're saying. You join up for a list, somebody follows you on that list, and then you can email them through that list directly.
You can email your downline.
But
it's not
is it
really
worthwhile?
What's that?
Is it worthwhile?
Yeah, I always email those people. I always email them. I mean, because they are
done it, and I've only gotten one reply out of the 10 list I've used. So I don't do it anymore.
It's not the most responsive, but it does. I mean, it doesn't hurt if you're going to be in that list anyway. You might as well send a quick email to everybody. And in those situations, I would send more like we've got our team synergy, which is growing. We have our Zoom on Wednesday or Saturday, and I would just invite them to that rather than try to get them to another capture page or something like that, because you've already got their name and email. I would just try to get them to some sort of training or to watch a video or something that then they watch something, they learn something, then they get back with you. And that's kind of how I would use that. And I want to touch on your safe list.
That's what I'd like to use, but if they're not even replying to any of my other messages, am I wasting my time trying that?
No, because all it takes is once, Barbara. You can sit there and you can message them and message them and message them. I mean, if it doesn't take that long to message them, all it takes is that one message, that one time, and then all of a sudden, bam, they're there.
I had a lady on my list.
I'll keep at it.
I had a lady on my list for 4 years before she ever responded to anything, and then she joined, and I was like, "Whoa!" And she had been there a long time, and I looked at her date on my list and stuff like that. That was pretty incredible. But I want to touch on your safe list thing, because last week you asked a question about the numbers on the safe list. If you got a safe list that goes to 50,000 people, and then if you got one of these ones that's 100 people, and this is where tracking comes important, because I was really careful on tracking this week. I've got a list that's only got 175 people on it. I had 2 opt-ins from it this week. From a small little 170 list, I had 2 opt-ins, and I'm like, well, now there's a responsive list. I hope it keeps growing, because when it's 1,000 people, I mean, that'll be a really good opt-in rate. So you really have to kind of watch what's happening, where your people are coming from, not so much how many people they're going to. And I always say tracking, that's the way you're gonna do it, is know where your opt-ins are coming from, because that little list, man, there's only 175 people, but I'm even every chance I get now.
Now, some of these newer lists, they have tracking systems in there with keyword and a list that it comes from. To use that, is that better than using Hits Connect or anything?
I use Hits Connect for everything. I don't
Okay.
use any internal tracking.
I
put all
haven't
my
gotten
links.
that far, but I do have
Yeah,
it out
yeah,
there.
Barbara, I think that they might track, but it's not gonna tell you where that conversion comes from. They're not gonna give that to you for free.
Okay, I didn't quite think so. That's why I wanted to ask.
But yeah, if you're not building a list or building your audience, you should. I'm going to do another Facebook training here pretty soon on the follow button, on how to get people just to follow you on Facebook, because you don't really have to post links. You don't have to post ads. Just run your Facebook profile like you always do. I mean, I just share my own stuff on it. And from there, I mean, I have people following me, and that's when the messaging happens. They usually try to sell me something. When
So-
people follow me back, they usually try to sell me something, but I just start the conversation with them, and that I'm not really looking for anything, but I am online. I like connecting with other like-minded people, and we build the friendships. And I've brought a lot of people through that way, just letting them follow me back. And
So,
I'll tell you
so
what.
Bob, I got a question.
Yeah.
You know, when you get the alerts on Facebook
Mm-hmm.
and then I scroll down the alerts and I look at it, and sometimes it'll say like, so-and-so ask you to follow them on a certain thing or whatever. I mean, do you follow that, or do you just,
I go look at it first. I go look at it. There's some
Okay.
things I look at on Facebook, because there's a lot of bots out there. There's a lot of scams out there. I like to see how long it's been around. If their account was just created, or the page was just created, no, I'm not gonna follow. I'm not gonna be their friend. If they've got if their Facebook profile for a friend request is lengthy, and I can see that they've been around, they've got maybe some similar friends in the industry that we're in, because you know a lot of people if you've been around a while. But I look for that length to see how long they are. I just and that's what they do at your profile. They go through it to see if it's there. But if you go through that profile and their account just created a month ago, that's somebody that hacked somebody's account, made an account. They're trying to get into your account to hack your account. So anytime someone wants you to follow something, you really need to click on the page and look at it and see how long it's been around, see what type of people are in it. Is it especially if they do those like business ones, join this, opportunity one. I go in there and look and see how active they are, what they've been doing, how many people are in there, how long they've been there, and I'm selective on joining those lists. I do join a lot of opportunity lists because I do like to go through you can click on their members and scroll right down their members and see who has their follow button on. And then I just click follow for the ones that look like they might be active. And sure enough, I'll get a lot of friend requests that way.
Okay, I got a Facebook question, Bob.
Yes.
Whenever someone wants to friend you or whatever, and you want to go check out their profile and stuff, I have a habit of going to the images. I mean, to see if it's a family setting, if it's just posing in front of their mirrors with shirts off and bikinis, and I want to see what they're trying to present themselves as.
Exactly.
And a lot of them that, I'm sorry, if you just a bunch of guys, I'm not interested in seeing your shirt off, this kind of stuff. I want to see your family. Do you have animals? Do you have kids? What? I don't want to see fancy cars. I'm sorry.
Those are the ones that I don't accept their friendships, because you get
Me
a lot of guys, us guys get a lot of girls.
Yeah.
And every one of these girls that wants to friend me, I'm like, you're 25 years old, I'm 60. I don't think you're looking to be my friend. And then I'll look at their profile. They've only been around for a few months. It's like,
Right.
if some guy on the other end of the line wanting money,
Okay,
what it is.
I'm on the right thinking about that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you're looking for is when somebody sends a friend request, is this somebody I wouldn't mind being in business with? And if their
There you
profile
go.
looks
Yeah.
like that, yes, I respond, yes, I want to connect with you. But if
Right.
other than that, I mean, I have no business with some 25-year-old girl. Goodbye. It's like,
Yeah.
just leave it.
Right. Especially the 25-year-old girls from Russia.
Oh,
You know,
gosh.
I get those all the time. Hi, I'm
I'm getting an
Ivana,
email
whatever.
full
I want to be
of
your friend. I'm like,
Russian and
okay,
Asian
thank you.
girls.
I do think it's funny you get the guys. It would only make sense if the guys are hunting you and the girls are hunting us. So it's like, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But
Hey,
yeah,
it's just
always
law
click
of
on
nature.
you're on the right track. Always click the profile, review it, look at it, see if it's somebody you want to be a friend with. And when you go through and do a lot of follows like I do, you're going to get a lot of stuff. But I usually try to follow 10 a day. And that's,
Yeah.
I just go through Facebook, click, 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 10 a day. And my friend request thing, I mean, they're all over the place. And I go through and boy, I tell you, when I first started that, it was so hard for me to delete a friend request. I don't know why it was hard, but it's like, man, I felt like I was doing something wrong to them that I wasn't taking their friend request. But then I realized, no, they're out there friend requesting everybody. So I'm just
Yep.
one in a million. So I only friend respond to the ones that after I looked at the profile, is somebody I want in my meeting. And then I'm like, okay, I'll take your friend request.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I took too many people and I got a lot of things. I mean, I still got a guy today that's always asking me for money, and it's like, no, 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 no. You can't ask me every week.
Now, what about if you have like if a person you're following is following somebody? I mean, do you look at that person that person's following?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if they've got followers, I'll check them. And
I go down the
sometimes
rabbit hole.
I'll
I
have
go
the
look.
same
Especially if they
followers
have
they
like
do.
followers that are in common with you.
Yes,
You know, like,
yes.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep, I'll
Definitely.
do that. Now, I don't send out any friend requests. I don't request anybody to be my friend. I'm not, because to me, that looks like you're hunting to sell somebody. I'm just following you
Right.
because you look like an interesting person. Now, when you friend request me, that's a different case. Now I'm responding to your request, and normally they try to sell me something, but then I just take the conversation and back it down. Hey, I'm just, I've already got something, but you looked interesting, and I want to connect so we can follow each other and stay in touch. And boy, it usually turns out pretty good, because then you get past the he's trying to sell you, you're trying to sell him, and you get more into the now we can just be friends. And if something does happen, that's great. But if it doesn't, it's fine. I mean, every now and then I'll post one of the videos I did in my Facebook, and they'll go watch the video. And I've got the link to my ebook on my Facebook page, and I've had people click on that and then come back and say, hey, that's pretty nice information you got there. So I just, keep your Facebook profile you. Don't make it about business, but follow them people and let them friend request you, and then just make a friend. And that's attraction. That's attraction marketing. That's it in a nutshell. Because now you're building your audience, even though they're not on your list, they still are a Facebook friend now, which is a list. So you're building that audience, and it makes it easier to engage that audience. Because you know what? On a Saturday morning, you can say, I'm getting ready to go to our team Zoom. See you all later. And you can put that on your Facebook profile. That's nothing businessy, but somebody who's a friend of yours that's in the industry is going to know what Zoom you going to, and they might ask. So, I mean, it's all about building that audience and then engaging them. And then the third step is when you can finally recommend stuff. But the first part is just building, and Facebook's a great way to build an audience. I mean, get them friends, follow, and get friends.
Okay, when you have a bunch of people on your friends list, like I've joined my high school group, and some of the people I knew personally, most of them I didn't. I know them by name only. But I've got them on my friend list. We don't communicate back and forth very much, but I'm beginning to think I knew that person in high school. Would it not be kind of a keep my foot in the door type thing to just say, because I know what state they live in, and if I know they're having good weather, bad weather, just kind of knock on their door and say, hey, I hear the weather's bad up to your area. Could you inform me what's going on so I can be aware if it's coming my way?
But those are the ones,
That.
old friends and stuff like that are on your Facebook. Those are the ones you just message and, hey, haven't touched base in a while, just wondering what you're up to. And, just thought it'd be nice to connect again. And I would do it through Messenger, then put it on your Facebook profile, and just individually try to connect. And through
Every
the
once in a while,
conversation, as the conversation involves, you could always say, I mean, bring in the probiotic. How's your health now? Because I know at my age, I'm failing quickly and things aren't working like they used to.
Hey, I
How's your
got you
health?
beat.
And I mean, those things, you just got to play it by the conversation. Are you making all the money you want to make? And would you be open to it after? First part, you want to energize that conversation with a long lost person. And then you can go into those things. Are you making all the money you want to make? But first, you'd want to start with just reconnect that friendship.
Right. Okay.
Any other questions this morning? This turned into a pretty
Are
good.
you going to do another Hits Connect video?
I can do that. I'll do another Hits Connect. I'll do another one.
Yeah, because I'd like to get at it, because I have your account there. I have my account there under you. And I've got some safe lists, Mary Ann's basically, because she's been doing some good lists. And I want to start going that route through Hits Connect so I can see what's really going on.
Yeah, I do like it. I mean, $5.95 a month. It's nice to know what's working and what's not working. And I mean, even the link, I'm going to get a personal link for the postcards. I'll even put that in Hits Connect so I can see when people are clicking on it and see where it's
Oh,
coming from.
cool.
So, I mean, it's track everything. If you can track it, try and track it in some way. Some things I'm still trying to figure out a way to track it because it's just like I've got people that show up. I'm like, I don't even know where you came from, but hey, you're there. So come to the Zoom, and it is hard to get people to the Zoom. It's hard. I don't know if it's a time thing because I had a new guy join. Well, actually I had two people. One made it 12 hours, but the other guy, I thought he'd be here. I thought Justin would be here today, and I'm not sure where Justin's at. And it's like, if you don't plug in, it's going to be very hard to make it. You're going to end up falling out and going to something else unless you're sold on the product. I mean, it's just so important to stay connected with people, and not because we're going to sit here and talk about the same thing, but it's just nice to have these friendships, and it keeps us connected and going. Rowing the boat the same direction, consistent and
Right.
persistent.
That's it.
Any other questions this morning?
Don't think so.
Man, right at the 30-minute mark. That worked
There you
out
go.
great.
Cool.
I'm going to stop the recording, and we'll close it down and see everybody on the corporate call on Tuesday if you make it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. This is awesome.
And Wednesday.